This is the Team Objection podcast for February 21st, 2019, episode 380. And as we mentioned last week and teased the possibility of, this is our two-part extravaganza review of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Non-spoilers!
For the first part of
Yes.
the first part.
Oh, okay.
There will be some minor spoilers. We're going to talk about the early worlds and stuff, but that has nothing to do with the overarching plot or anything major. So there's just little stuff. You don't have to sweat it. There will be a point in this first part where things are going to go off the rails into Spoilerville, and we'll warn you in advance so you can kind of listen for most of this episode. If you're trying to stay completely spoiler-free, I don't know why you're here in the first place. If you're trying to stay like major spoiler-free, you can listen to 3/4 of this first one. You'll be in good shape.
It's true, but I'm look at this.
I'll try my best.
It's the box art
Oh,
on
nice.
on my shirt.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So I said I was gonna draw a line in the sand right now.
Get those.
I bought them on some website.
Online. They were on my Facebook feed. It's like, oh my God, must get.
Michaela and I, we were tricked.
I didn't notice them because I don't have my glasses on right now, and that's delightful.
I think these shirts are indicative, though. I think what's going to happen is in our review, it's going to be El Terce's versus the world. That's what I think. I think we're going to be defending this this beloved, cherished game
Sure.
from the dark souls of Chris and Michelle.
I think you're wrong.
I might be wrong.
Because I'm only going to bring up 2 points in which I fight, and if you fight me on it, you're going to lose.
No way. We'll see what we got. I bet you it's not going to be for a while, though. So.
Probably not,
Yeah.
no. I don't even think it's going to come up till part 2, to be honest. But
okay.
now we've given listeners a hook. There could be blood spilled.
Yep.
Stick around till the end of the next episode to find
Yeah.
out.
So Dave didn't make it to this one, huh?
No, I told him not to. I told him, take
well.
a couple weeks off, Dave. Go spend some time with your family. I saw him yesterday, so I was like, get out of here, Dave.
Get out of here. You earned a break.
We could have had him on in a way that was like okay if we were going to do like a regular 30-minute review
Yeah.
and kind of talk him through stuff. This is too in-depth, and we're going to lose him.
He's too stupid. We can't waste time hand-holding him through the whole thing.
I just think he'd find it boring, so...
Yeah, I think he may have played the first one, that's it, and you lose a lot if you're trying to get to 3 because of everything that happened since then. So
Yeah, no.
we're going to start by talking about some of the more general stuff,
Yeah.
looking at an overarching approach, and again, mostly spoiler-free, just talking about some of the stuff like gameplay and mechanics and music and graphics and blah, blah, blah. We wanted to get that out of the way up front because it doesn't fit with some of the breakdowns we're going to do later, so I think the easiest one to start with is gameplay. And I think it's the best in the series yet.
Oh my
So-
God. Yeah.
Overall.
I can't speak to it because I didn't actually play it. I
It doesn't
watched
matter,
it. So
you watched it.
I really want to hear what you guys have to say about the
So,
gameplay.
okay, Kingdom Hearts 2 comes out, and the gameplay is decent, but it's slow. Maybe it didn't feel slow back then, but it certainly does now.
Yeah.
And then you had Days come out, and Dream Drop, and Birth by Sleep actually as well.
Yep.
Birth by Sleep's faster than 2, yeah.
And they all did different things with tempo and command decks. Actually, those games, pretty much all of them had some sort of command deck. So I didn't know what this one was going to be, and it really is just a return to 2, but much faster, and a kind of a return of the context sensitive triangle win now button, although it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So what are your guys' thoughts? Well, Chris kind of already hinted at it, but changing it from all these different capabilities, I would say some of Dream Drop and Birth by Sleep is a little deeper than 2
Yep.
to come back almost simplified in 3. What were your thoughts?
Okay, I'm going. So I really liked.
Keep going, Kayla. We'll fix it.
Why?
There she goes. Okay, so
Just on the video feed. Don't worry about it,
Really?
audio listeners.
I liked the return to like 2's combat like in a very simple way, but like it wasn't as simple or slow as 2, kind of like you said. I like that they brought in some of the stuff that they experimented with from Dream Drop and Birth by Sleep, particularly the flow motion. It was really nerfed, but I thought all the other stuff they added from all the spin-offs really came together to create like a really just fun gameplay experience. Like, it's the most fun I've had with a Kingdom Hearts game. Like, I actually like fighting. Usually I don't care about the fighting. I'm just like, whatever, press buttons, win. Whereas now it's like, oh my god, I want to go kill stuff because it's so much fun and I can do all this crazy combos and like it's just so clean. It's a very clean experience, and I think the spin-offs really kind of helped them kind of figure out what they want to do with the gameplay
Right.
and really refine it. So I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it wasn't super. I've been playing since 2 came out. I played things like Neo and Dark Souls, and so is it as deep as that? Obviously not, but
No.
I still had a really good time with it. I will say, I did not use the attraction at all.
I
And
hate it.
I'm not going to knock the game too bad because you could choose to not use it. But I felt like the frequency of which you could activate it was too much.
Yep.
And I know you can
Way
choose
too
to do it or not. But don't have it in there so damn much.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Like, again, I was watching somebody play it, and they stopped using it after a while because it came up so often, and a lot of them are really powerful. It's like, what's the point? It's just like, and we're done with that battle. Like, it was way too much.
I didn't mind using them in regular, heartless, nobody, et cetera, encounters, but in bosses, absolutely not.
There's
No.
definitely a boss fight where I used it. Sorry. It
Well,
really
okay,
helped me.
here's the
Otherwise,
thing,
I
though.
would have died.
If you're in a boss fight and you're in trouble,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Oh, yeah,
to
I totally
me, to
was.
use it.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of inverse of Chris because I found it just took so much time. So in the regular battles, I would rather just kill everything than go through the whole ship comes out and then you get on and you go through the thing and
There's a carousel. It's spinning. It's spinning.
I liked the attractions just because I'm a Disney dork, so I liked I just thought it was like cute and silly,
Well,
but
And you're the target market. Like, that's why they put them in, and to keep, maintain their branding. It makes so much sense why they did it.
yeah.
I just thought that they were a little bit clunky in terms of like they didn't look good either. Like the water one, I wanted
that
to die whenever I saw it on the screen.
Yeah,
Like, it
that one
looked
was rough.
bad.
The carousel, if it was ever in tight quarters, screwed with the camera,
Oh.
something fierce. There was some
Yeah.
issues with them.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
blaster
Yeah.
one is just kind of bad overall, no matter where you use it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
a
to me,
little
the
weird.
blaster one was the only one that was actually like Disneyland.
That's,
Well, I mean,
The
that's
splash
true
one-
kind
Yeah.
of too.
Kind
Yeah.
of.
that's true.
The pirate, that's not in Disneyland. That's like in like the carnival in Kingman. Like that's not.
The carousel's in Disneyland, or a version of it.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
Kind
So
of,
it's
but-
kind of. But like, it would have been Space Mountain, Splash Mountain. Those
Oh my
were the
God.
ones that I wanted.
thought the Splash Run was Splash Mountain the first time I saw
Me
it.
too.
Whoa! And then it wasn't it. I was
No.
like, oh no.
And I don't know how you
disappointed.
do this, but I would have liked to have seen a Pirates attraction. Even if it was just in the Pirates world as a one-off, because they did that.
Yeah.
Well, two-off.
Yeah.
It could have maybe done something with that. I don't know. Because that's one of those
Also,
signature rides as well. You
I
know?
liked the Thunder Railroad one. I wish it was in it more.
Yeah.
I
You only
think
used
it
it
was in it
twice.
just enough.
So
I liked it.
So those were the attractions. I would say the big other thing was no command decks, none of that. It's your basic attack commands, magic commands, but then you build a meter high enough, and it allows you to go into a second form with the Keyblade.
Yeah.
First of all, you could equip 3 different Keyblades at once.
And
Which
switch
was-
mid-combo.
You could. It doesn't do a whole lot, but
No.
you can. And I appreciated being able to. Like,
Yeah.
it was easy, and
Yeah.
you could experiment. But I thought that was fun. The second form, they felt different.
Every single one was unique, which I really liked. It gave you a good reason to want to use the Keyblades and try
That's-
them out.
Technically not true, but close enough.
What?
Like the Monsters Inc. one is actually very similar. Or am I thinking of the right one? Some of them are very similar
there's two
to other
with
ones.
claws, for example.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a couple
Okay.
with they're
Yeah,
relatively
yeah.
unique overall, and even though in those animations, well, one of them has a bunch of ice and stuff, so they're still
Yeah.
different. They're not fully unique, but they're different enough. And I gotta say, it's nice to make the Keyblades both relevant and because you could level up their stats, worthy of using later on instead of just having to abandon one. Like Kingdom of Key in the other
Yeah.
games, you're like, see you later. You have 3 attack. I have 9
Yeah.
now.
I loved
Yeah.
that.
So when I beat the game, the Keyblade I used the most was the Keyblade. Just a bit, because I just I love the
Yeah.
aesthetic
Me
of the
too.
Keyblade. My close second and probably my favorite throughout the game was the Frozen Keyblade.
Agreed.
I
So
used that
That
one
is
a lot.
badass.
Yeah, that one
Yep.
was
So
so
good.
good.
I didn't even care if it was good because I don't use I didn't and then I did. But at the time when I first adopted the Keyblade, I wasn't using magic and I was like, I don't care. It's a blade that's heavily skewed to magic. I was like, it just looks cool. And then I started using the abilities. I'm like, oh my god, it's actually great.
Yeah, yeah. That one was the one I used the most when I beat the game, and it gave me my record. That was by far the one I
Yeah.
used the most. It was super good.
Some
Yeah,
of them, the favorite deputy.
Nah, I used it for Lucky Strike
Yeah.
because I needed it for the ultimate weapon. That was it.
I liked the Pirates one. That was my second most used, I think.
I actually didn't use that.
That was
one.
cool.
I liked the second form of it, and the third form with the flag was, I think, hilarious, and I loved the finisher with the Kraken. Soren's just like planting the flag, and
Oh,
there's
God.
Kraken tentacles everywhere, and he's
I
like, "This is
clearly
normal.
missed
Yep.
something.
I'm the hero."
Yep, that was fun. It's really fluid. It's dynamic. They included dodge roll from the very beginning.
Yep.
Thank God.
Scan from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And even
Block.
the air slide, like so much is just there from the get go, so you don't feel like you're going back to square one
About
every
time.
single time.
Yeah.
A lot of smart decisions. A lot of things that were streamlined. And yes, I do agree that it's kind of a little bit more basic overall, but I don't think it's bad basic. It's not
Yeah.
like they took too much away and stripped it down. I think there's just enough left that it's still approachable, and yet there's some nuances there if you want to dig into it.
So, like, Michelle, as watching it, like, did you get? Because
Why though?
I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna keep talking
It's
to
a
you.
Skype issue, I think.
I want to say
'Cause
you
that,
just
that
like
frame is locked.
you ate a mushroom from Mario.
I'm really
and
excited.
you're-
And audio listeners, don't worry. It's just video shit. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep talking.
And
But
shit,
now I
anyway.
forgot what I was gonna say. Something about.
Something
Something
about
something
watching
about
it.
Giant Michelle.
Oh, just I wanted to ask watching it. So I could do this like just fighting. I fought every time there was an encounter. I
Yeah.
fought. And sometimes I'd double back to just level up. Like it was really fun and engaging. Did it get boring watching it?
So for the most part, no. But at one point, which I want to talk about when we talk about the worlds, I think we're going to have a lot of differences because for you guys, you were enjoying the gameplay so much that I think one world in particular, everyone's going to be like, it was my favorite, and
Yep.
I skipped a lot of it.
Oh
because
Yep.
it was a
no!
lot of fighting and
Yep.
a lot of grinding, and I was just like, I am not playing it. It's different, and that was unfortunate. Like that's something that I kind of realized after I talked to I think Chris and Michaela separately just about that particular world. But we'll talk about it when we get there. For the most part, I had it on when I was working, and it was just in another monitor, and I was just like I would just watch. And when actual plot was happening, I would like put my full attention there. But I was just mostly halfway engaged when there was fighting going on, and it looked really nice. And so when I would look up and see what was going on, I was kind of just following it. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't boring for the most part, though. It did get redundant at some parts. Yes.
I wanted to bring up the graphics, but I forgot. The last thing I want to say is comparing it to the other games, I was hoping the abilities were going to come back. And in the same vein of you have AP and you are buying different, there's a cost for every ability that you unlock. I was glad to see that return. And kind of more refined than ever. You have so many abilities now.
Mm-hmm.
And with some of the really high AP granting accessories, if you just want to go whole hog and equip everything, you actually can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or if you
Oh,
don't
I
want to
totally
equip
do
those
that.
and you want stats or other abilities, then you still have to pick at least a few of them you turn off. But
Mm-hmm.
good system.
Yeah.
Overall, a lot of really solid design choices there. There's very few I have issues with, and that was actually one of my biggest worries going in was after seeing games like Duke Nukem and Final Fantasy 15 that got caught in development hell and then seemed dated in some ways. I was worried that was going to happen here, and I don't really think it did.
No, not really.
No,
The graphics. So the game looks great.
Yeah.
The graphics are actually not great. Technically, performance-wise, it's not that high of a performer. But it shows you what you can get away with just really solid art direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The creative direction, the art direction, the way that things look, they did a certain motion blur with things. It looks great on the screen.
Well, and they had so many cutscenes too that I think that also helps make it look really good in terms of like cleanness and things like that. So
Every once in a while, you'll see a slowdown,
Yeah.
both in gameplay and in cutscenes when there's like a ton of Heartless, for example,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
bad.
Draw
But-
distance is an issue occasionally in some of the bigger, more spread out worlds. You just see objects like apparating into the world, which I wouldn't really want to see in a game in 2019, but it's not too bad.
But I mean, so I was playing, Resident Evil 2 recently and some other games, and to go to a place like the Tangled World or to summon the attraction is so vibrant and colorful, and it just blows your face off.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like that, and I liked the decision to, in a lot of worlds, more than ever before, you look different and unique to the world that you're in.
I really liked that. I think finally they've mastered like having Sora, Donald, and Goofy really blend in because the graphics are so good and they really look like the movies now. I think that really helps because a lot of the Disney worlds before were 2D, and so you're making that jump to 3D, which is already jarring on top of having your 3 little goofy dudes there. So the fact that like everything looks the part, like it just makes it easier, and it looks so nice. I loved the
And
implementation.
I think that's a big part of why they were able to fuse everything together, because we'll get to this kind of when we talk about the Pirates world, but it was the worst in 2 as far as look.
Oh.
Characters looked completely out of place.
Oh, yeah.
And the world itself was dry, boring, colorless, drab.
Oh, God.
And it's one of the best
Yeah.
in 3, even though the
Yeah.
characters are all the same, ostensibly, just because of the way the art style and the direction has gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And it works across multiple worlds, even if their costumes don't change a ton. Just the subtle little differences, you go, yeah, okay, that makes sense alongside that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that overall level design, and we'll get to specifics later, was really solid. I thought the worlds didn't feel empty
Yeah.
and like,
Oh my God.
you're saying I'm in Mulan, but it doesn't feel like I'm in Mulan.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
actually feel like you're in the movies, and
Yeah.
it's great.
And so they feel both more alive and the scope, and at the same time, the scope has increased.
Mm-hmm.
So they're bigger and fuller,
Yep.
which is really awesome.
Yep.
Yep.
Bigger and fuller.
I think we should touch on the soundtrack real quick. It's awesome.
Oh.
Oh,
It's so
it's
good.
so good.
I
The
get-
music.
I'm waiting for a full
Oh.
release. It still hasn't happened yet, both legally or illegally.
There's a theme that I can't even say what it is.
I
'cause
know, I
even
know what
in
it
it's a
is.
spoiler. But it's the best song in the whole game.
Oh, it's
I
so
remember, and I know what it is. We all know what it is. I remember when it came on, like within the first 10 seconds, I got chills. It's stunning.
Oh,
It's so good.
I continued to tear up because I already was. And so my 2 favorite songs in one song now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is too much.
It's so good.
There's
I also
several-
cried shamelessly. We'll get there.
There are several like really, really well done tracks, either brand new or bringing back old themes with certain characters or moments or whatever. That, I mean, Yoko's outdone herself, and it's cool because it's an homage to the series.
Yeah.
You get like Night
Yeah.
of Fate from the first game in a new
Yeah.
reorchestrated version. You get songs from 2 when you fight some of the nobodies and stuff. Like all of them, Birth by Sleep has a couple nice tracks that pop back up. All of it is just a callback, and the new
Yeah.
music flows in really seamlessly too.
I was
It
really
felt-
pleasantly surprised by how much of the old music came back as well. I was expecting like a brand new soundtrack, maybe 1 or 2 callbacks, and there were actually a bunch of callbacks. I was like, I love all of this. This is so good.
It's actually really impressive too because a lot of them are really throwaways. For example, there's the Underworld theme from Olympus in one cutscene for like 25 seconds.
Yeah.
And it just shows up there, and it's just a little thing there, and it's nowhere else. But I liked it. It was like, cool, that's a theme I heard back in the day. I don't need to hear it anymore, but look at that, it's there.
Even the shitty music was enjoyable. And I say shitty because there's like music that's in the background, and you know it's in the background, and it's only there to serve as noise in some parts. And you're like, oh, you know what? It's kind of a nice tune too.
Yeah.
There was only one that really bugged me, and it's just because the song bugs me, and it was like the rehash of "You Got a Friend in Me."
Oh, yeah,
I couldn't deal with it.
That
any
drove me
longer.
crazy.
They
after-
needed I liked the take they did on it. They needed a second
Same.
song there.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, it was a lot of the same thing.
Because every time I turn around, ba 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 ba, I'm like, no, this is the 50th time. Stop. There are no friends.
Yep.
I know.
Other than that, especially like Tangled and Frozen in particular,
Yeah.
had some new, like, brand new original music that I all thought was really good. So
Very
it was
good,
just
yeah.
excellent across the board. Maybe my favorite part of the game, other than like sentimental stuff, but just from like a critical perspective, thought it
Dude,
was phenomenal.
To me though, the sentimental and the music is so tied together at this point though.
Yeah, that's true too.
That definitely tugs on my heartstrings for sure. Yeah, music, gameplay, graphics. There's something I just want to say we're gonna get into analysis of each character, and that's incoming. So we don't need to go full stop here. I thought that the character writing. I mean, it's still Kingdom Hearts. You saw some bad lines. Although for the most part everything's well delivered, but still it's like a bad line, and
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. At one point I threw up my hands and I was like, you didn't say anything. You spoke, you didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I still thought the writing was the best for like characters, representing characters, having them actually be a character. giving the personality and really exploring those interactions. It was the best it's ever been.
Mm-hmm. Also, fake Instagram. I don't know where we're gonna fit that in later. I loved it. I loved it.
It's a mechanic. I think we should talk about it now because it doesn't really fit in with characters.
The camera?
And in a way it does, though, because it really
The load
in
screen.
the loading screen when it's fake Instagram.
I like them overall. I like the lightheartedness. It's just something a little bit off-putting about like we need to rescue Aqua. Aqua. Deep dive. You're like,
I actually didn't consider them like canon.
I figure they're not
Like,
supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think they're just kind of fun.
for the player.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm like, you assholes left Aqua down there for 10 years and you're Instagramming.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, and the camera itself, I think mileage will vary. I didn't use it that much. I used it for the photo missions and the lucky emblems, which I loved.
Yep.
Every world has secret
That should come up here too.
Yeah.
emblems.
Exploring's back.
Yes.
My
Exploring.
biggest gripe with 2 compared to 1 is that all of the exploring was gone. It's back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That and the
I
ingredients
loved
and the new food stuff,
Oh, it
all
was so good.
nice additions.
All of it was
Yeah,
great.
the food mini game. I didn't do it a whole lot, but I did it enough to like I made everything on the menu.
Same.
Yeah, me too.
And that was enough, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Little 2-second mini games, and
I liked it.
the eggs was the hardest.
Oh my god, I
Anytime with the
cracked
eggs.
so many eggs. I could never get the timing right. There were some where it'd be perfect, and then other times it just blow up in my face. I'm like, I don't know what I did wrong.
I managed to get that one pretty consistently. I just thought it was the fucking funniest thing. Compared to all of them, which are all basic activities, but just... And then afterwards, you get a double yolk egg for some reason, and then it's just, we did it!
Yeah.
And you're like, you just cracked an egg, and you turn around, and it's like this beautiful, like,
Gourmet.
flambe
Yeah.
dessert. And you're like, what?
That's true.
I don't want to make it a more elaborate cooking process than that. I'm happy it's a shortcut. It just looks stupid, but
Yeah,
in a
it's
sore
silly.
way. So you're like, yep, he would like cracking an egg. He would get excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. The camera, it was, I don't know. Maybe you guys took more selfies. I've seen
totally
people
did.
online go crazy with the selfies on it. So
There's one that's really funny
Yeah.
that I can't really talk about because
Oh,
it's a
I think
spoiler.
I know
I've
exactly the
heard
one
that.
you're
But
talking
towards the
about.
end of the game, with a sea of busyness behind them, it's just like he. Like, okay.
I was telling Michaela, I kind of feel like a lot of people took away like the whole camera element from Final Fantasy 15, and they really like they clung to like this one mechanic that they really enjoyed, and it was good for character like depth and development. And so I think people might like it because of that, but I thought it was really charming.
well, I feel like 15 influenced this one for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can see it, and I think in obvious things like the camera and the food, but also in the camaraderie between the main characters.
Yep.
It's never been. We were told. I feel like they were close before, and now we actually really see it, and it's there. And Goofy is the dumb dog dad, who's actually like the wisest.
Oh my god, my
of the whole
Disney
group.
dads.
And little Donald is like your little annoying brother, and they like fully embody those roles. And that was really nice to see.
I feel like that's true for the most part. I think that there are some differences with some of the other characters. We can talk about it later, but I think that the main three for sure.
Okay.
I think
That's
to me, since this is a good time to mention, I'm actually glad we did because we wouldn't have otherwise. I think all the side stuff was really well balanced. It has good rewards, but nothing that feels punishing if you don't engage with it. It has good depth to it if you want to dive in, but if you don't have to feel like, oh, geez, like I didn't do that whole thing. I ignored most of the gummy ship stuff. I liked that it was fleshed out. It's probably the best the gummy ship's been. I still think it's mediocre, but I like the work they put into it. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better.
It
I spent
is.
way too much time on it mining rare materials,
I
but
bet.
but yeah, it was fun. The side games, some were fun, some were frustrating.
Yeah, but I like the balance because I feel like 2 was just crammed with so many mini games in like, oh, here's a task, let's turn it into a mini game.
And
Yeah.
tied to the main plot.
And tied
Yeah,
to the
in
main
combat.
plot. And I'm like,
Yeah.
can you not? So like I really like the balance of, okay, here's this fun mini game. You don't have to do it, but if you can, you get cool rewards. And for the most part they're all pretty fun and spaced out like well.
The dancing mini game
Oh
was
my
surprisingly
God. I died.
complicated.
I loved it. Oh my god, I'm so bad at it, especially because I start laughing at things and then I mess up all my combos.
It's so charming
It's
and
so
cute,
good.
and it looks good too. And it's just to me something like a mini game like that really adds depth to the character. It's priceless. It's so good. I was I loved it.
If you think the dancing minigame was charming, which it was, but you did not try for the highest score, it becomes decidedly less charming.
70,000.
And screaming. I'm like, where are you going? So you like partner up with the person. They take you off somewhere. You're like, no.
Yeah,
But
no, I
it
didn't
was
even
good.
bother trying to do that high score. I saw that in the trophies and was like, nope. Guess I'm not doing that.
This might be exaggerating, but it's possible Sora has more personality in that minigame than all of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yes,
Oh,
he
yes.
does.
And that's both cool that he's come this far and also kind of sad looking back.
He is a character, like a full character. And
Yeah.
we're going to talk about him a lot more later, but
Yep, in part 2.
that was a great change. It's almost like making your lead character have personality.
Wait,
It
what?
paid off dividends.
Huh.
What a concept.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right. So we have to go rapid fire world by world. This is still not the spoiler portion because we're only going to talk about the early ones, the Disney stuff, and them self-contained. And if you know the plot of the Disney movies, you know what happens in like 80% of these. So don't worry yet. After the Disney worlds are done, we'll tell you to abandon ship. But we're going to go world by world with like a 3 to 4 minute breakdown of each. Just what's the best parts, maybe what's the worst. Everybody can chime in. And then at the end, we'll rank them. So you don't have to worry about like giving it a score or anything. We'll just rank them top to bottom at the end. So, first world. This is, by the way, just so you know, playable worlds, not worlds you see in the background, not worlds you visit for 2 seconds, stuff you actually spend time with, okay? Olympus.
It's best world for most of the game.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I loved seeing, this old world that's been consistently not good in the other games,
Dude,
and they
it's
finally do something new with
In
it.
every game, too. It's
It's
in
in
Birth by
every
Sleep. I'm
game.
like, it's here, too.
It's in every game, and it's
Yeah.
boring. They never did anything with it. And
Yep.
here you actually feel like you're you're actually like in an area that isn't the stupid Coliseum, and you get to explore. And
It's so
great.
expanded. It's epic as hell, which, like, it should have been the whole time because it's Hercules.
I
But
know.
it's like, what a way to start the game. You really get a sense of the verticality. You're running up walls and
I
you're
love
fighting
that.
titans.
It's the most vertical world in the game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is a cool way to start.
Yeah, it does look very good when you're during that fight. I was like, "Oh, this is something new." Like, really.
But more
Yeah.
importantly, there's a lot going on. You get to spend some time in the city. You're helping out people. The city's getting destroyed, so all around you are these kind of cool set pieces. And then you start climbing up to Mount Olympus, and all that area is pretty and beautiful and really big. And then you get up to Olympus, and that's all new stuff. Just really, really good. And you have a plot and like character reason to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was to the point when I played the first world, the best they had ever done in integrating the Disney story into something I actually care about, and not just a by the numbers retelling. They actually put some thought into it.
Yep.
Yeah, which was so good. Like, this is what I think it was always meant to be. Like, this is what it should have been from like
Right.
day one, and they finally got there with this game. Took
Yeah.
long enough, but
And I get it. Back in the PS2 days, it was harder, and that's why you have basically an opening to the Coliseum, the inside of the Coliseum that's like 5 foot by 5 foot, and I guess the stadium with no crowd. You had like 3 maps there back in the beginning. I get it. We have a PS4 now with a lot more capability, but still, it's amazing looking back at that to where we are now. Twilight Town.
I loved it. It's a lot smaller now, so which is good for people who like get lost because it's really big in previous games. So I can see making it smaller is good, but like it's so like alive. Like there's so many people and there's so many
Yeah.
things to do, and like all those empty stupid spots before where there was nothing. There's a movie projector. There's a restaurant in
Yeah.
this corner.
Oh, yeah.
Like they really
Tons of
filled
people.
it up.
Lots of
There's
people,
tons of people.
conversation, bustling.
Like they cut out a lot of the like extra stuff, and then they just filled in all that space with good stuff, and it just felt so alive.
Pretty big
I loved
forest now.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's-
That's bigger.
it's
I
bigger.
I loved seeing a place that I thought was pretty iconic into like brought to life in this interpretation in 3.
Oh, I loved it. It makes you feel like I finally understand why Roxas misses this place because it's like so alive, and this is probably how it should have been or how he remembers it or whatever. But like the fact that you kind of get to see it so alive and full of people, it's like, oh, I can see why he misses it.
I'm really
It's
glad to have
great.
it back overall. I'm a little disappointed that you don't get to go inside the manor or the
I know.
hideout or the struggle field or the back alleys.
I was a little disappointed about the clock tower because
Clock
the clock tower is
tower.
very iconic, but everything else about it is so alive and great that I'm like,
And I don't even need all those. I would have liked 1 or 2 just to make that world feel a little bit bigger.
What if it let you buy a sea salt ice cream and go to the clock tower and sit, and then a cutscene would play out
that'd
where
be
you
so
say,
nice.
it's salty, but sweet.
Yes, they should have done that. Can we petition that, please? 'Cause
Yeah,
it'd be great.
probably, I think.
I think we'll do that, yeah.
DLC, this one
I think
thing.
Emmer's probably watching.
Yeah.
So.
So solid, not there a ton. It's the shortest of anything we're going to list here. Well, no, sorry, it's the second shortest of anything we're going to list here, but good.
Still had the emblems, so
Yep.
like still worth exploring.
Yep.
Some creative ones too.
There
Yeah.
were some good ones.
thought.
Yeah.
One of the best worlds for them, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's nice to see the old crew again. I mean, we can talk on. We're not going to be talking about some of these specific characters later. We're going to be talking about the overarching ones. So it's just kind of cool to see the crew again. You know, they get to help you out a little bit. There's some usual hijinks. We have a mystery for Dog Street to solve. You know, all the things
Still
that are.
wearing a Dog Street shirt.
Yes, he is.
Still wearing it.
Which is so I can't
couldn't
wait.
see it.
In 2030, when we finally do a Kingdom Hearts 3 playthrough again, because you guys are going through it right now,
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I figured by the time we get done with 2 and then get Michelle back to do 3, we'll have forgotten the playthrough anyways. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, that little crew is legit. Like you could see their idealism being like annoying, but they're like, yeah, this guy looks cool. We'll help you out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like that.
I
I thought it really validated their characters in this edition, and I liked them more than I had in 2. And I didn't particularly find them that annoying in 2, but I liked them a lot more in this game.
Yeah.
Big step forward for OLED, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's the opening stuff, and now you start getting your choices. We're going to go in order of what you're supposed to do, which is like recommended level. So next up is Toy Box.
The worst world had so much potential. It might not be the worst world, but it's
Well,
very
when we get
close
to
to the
one on this
bottom.
list, you'll understand why it's definitely not the worst.
okay.
I
It's
wasn't
low for
feeling
me.
it.
No.
Yeah. I liked the way it started. I liked being in Andy's room and in the house and seeing kind of the scale. Like, oh, you're this itty bitty little toy running around. That's adorable. But then you got to the game store, and then I feel like that's where it started slipping for me a little bit.
It started off so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the street stuff is fun.
Yeah.
I like that a lot too. I kind of felt like Buzz and Woody had switched personalities.
Also,
Oh my
that,
god!
they were so
I can't
out of
believe you said that
character.
because I said the same
I
thing.
said the same thing too.
I said not only were they totally wrong,
Yeah.
they were like opposite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Since
It
when
felt-
is Woody like, let's trust everybody? That's not you at all.
He's always been an asshole. Like
Yeah.
that's been his character. He's stubborn and he doesn't listen, and he should have been Buzz's character. It was so confusing.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
He's the overprotective one.
Yeah.
And this seems to be set after the first movie. It's hard to tell 100% for sure, but
Yeah.
it seems to be set after the first one, presumably before 2, but who knows? The rest of the crew's all gone. And so
Yeah.
it's just in this weird space where they try to go for a unique story, and it's like you could have just done some of the best beats of Toy Story 1 and been fine.
Yeah, and I don't know why the need for the world. I mean, I guess I get it. You don't want like humans walking around, but that world felt so empty
Yeah.
It
to
did.
me.
The whole like, oh, we just casually split the worlds. That's why no one.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh,
I'm
by
like,
the way,
oh,
it's a
okay.
parallel universe. I can tell because none of the characters are right.
Right.
This is all off.
Exactly. I also thought it was funny because they like Pixar like insisted on like writing the story for this or at least helping.
Yeah.
And it's like the weakest story out of all the worlds. So like it's slow. The characters are out of character. Like it was jarring a little bit.
Yeah.
It
It
just
had some
seems
good
like a
design
waste.
ideas.
Yeah.
There were parts of it that I'm like, I want to like this, but I don't know. It just didn't really come together for me.
The Toy Store has some neat moments, but to me, it's like, think about these potential set pieces, okay? I don't like fantasy booking stuff because I feel like it gets overdone, but here's what I think. Opening's great. Keep it. Then, probably end up at Pizza Planet for something short. Then, Sid's room.
Yeah.
Why do we not, like, there's so much material with Sid that could have been done. Again, just take some of the stuff you had from 1 and retell it because this is your first crack at Toy Story.
I know.
Some action set pieces are built into that. It would have been cool.
You could have
Instead-
even done 3 just because, the nursery on the weekend, it's a pretty big place. It seems like a lot of different locations.
But no adults.
Yeah, and no adults.
So you
because
have a
it's
built-in reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not a split in goddamn reality.
Yeah.
just- and I think that was like they wanted to introduce the mech battles. A lot of worlds have, kind of for the general statement, a lot of worlds have a unique thing about them that changes the gameplay. Some don't, most do. The Toy Story one is mech battles, where you get into a mech, shoot things. It was fine. I didn't really care. Actually, a lot of times it was more frustrating than it was fun because you start without a mech,
Yep.
and they just clock you.
Oh yeah, they. Oh my god, I hated them so
and
much.
sometimes
in
you
the
knock,
beginning parts of the
you
world.
deplete a mech's health, and then you pay attention to something else for a minute, and another Heartless jumps into it, and you got to start all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were like 20 of those at one point, and I'm like, can I just look around, please? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fight 20 of these all at once. Although, can I say the Verum Rex stuff was hilarious?
Yes.
All
It
of
was
that
funny.
was so good. I died every single time something of that came up. I was
So
just,
aren't those like assets from Versus 13?
That's the theory, yes.
That's the
I don't know if
theory.
it's been confirmed.
I don't.
That's hilarious.
It's really funny. Like I also love like so you start Toy Story. And it's just this like gorgeous looking trailer. Like it looks better than anything else in the game. I'm like, what am I watching? Is that
I
Riku?
know.
Yeah.
What?
And you know it's a Nomura directed special because there's a bunch of male characters and a female who's doing nothing but being in distress. We'll get to that in part 2.
I thought I was like watching a trailer. Like
I
was
thought
watching
that
on YouTube,
too.
I was like, this isn't what.
It's like,
And
I
did
then
was-
I
my
realized-
game get
I was-
ejected? And
Yeah.
is
I
this
was
like
pretty
a-
sure I knew it was happening. But there was for a second it crossed my mind of like they would not really do cross game advertising in like their huge blockbuster, would they? And
Yeah.
they didn't, but then maybe they did actually. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
we'll see. But it was still hilarious, and I enjoyed all of it.
Yeah, not a good world though.
The last
No.
thing I'll say though, like along those lines, is like not a good world, but not bad.
Right, for like if you compare Toy Story to most of the worlds in
Yeah.
2, it's better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's decent. It's like you said, probably bottom 3. We'll see exactly when we get there, but like it's still not bad, which is a testament to how good most of the worlds are.
And ladies and gentlemen, in Kingdom Hearts 3, you no longer have to choose which ally to leave behind,
Oh, thank
Donald or
God.
Goofy.
Another huge
know.
decision.
Oh, I'm
you
so
add
happy.
them to you. And in the case of Toy Story, you get to add Woody and Buzz.
Yep.
And that was cool.
That
We're-
was
It was
really
cool
good.
fighting alongside them.
Weirdly enough, each of these first 3 of the main worlds in the map all have 5, which is kind of a cool way to introduce it. Then they're all 4 after that. But
Yeah.
so speaking of, next up on that first ring was Kingdom of Corona from Tangled.
I loved it. It was
I
charming.
love-
I mean, gaping plot holes aside, I thought the
Oh.
design was so good and the characters were so good and like all of that was worth it for me, I think.
I agree with most of what you're saying, so I'll get to my criticism straight away because we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
I felt like the middle was a little listless.
A little bit.
Like, starts off really cool because the tower's there, this story, which it follows the main beats of the movie, but like I just thought it was done really well. Like, to me, that was better than anything we'd seen before too, and then which is a
Yes.
theme of Kingdom Hearts 3. It's going to keep happening, but the voice acting was great. The jokes landed. I feel like they had a different director,
This
like a
game
voice
is
director,
so
because the
funny.
humor actually landed for a change, and
Yep.
it's like never done that before.
Like this whole game is hilarious. I'm still laughing at it in our
Yeah.
playthrough. Like I'm just dying all the time. It's so funny.
So that was great. The middle was just like okay. Now I'm getting a little sick of like forest.
Yeah.
There was
Like
a lot
Forest
of
A,
forest.
Forest B, Forest C, Forest D.
Dark
it's like, okay.
Forest.
It would have been nice if we had a little more of the town, or maybe just even a different area of
And
the
then
town.
you get to the town, and the town is great.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there was a lot of forest. I will agree with that, especially when, particularly like in the dark area, when you're not with Rapunzel and Flynn, and it's just you guys. And I'm like, but I liked them with me because they made this feel alive and better.
Yeah.
And now they're not here. I'm like, I don't really like this dark forest by myself. I
Yeah.
don't get to interact with anyone, or you know.
And then you had an organization member there, and that was kind of
Yeah.
I liked that. I was hoping the whole game was going to be each world had like an organization member that
Yeah.
was, and they kind of do, but also kind of don't. But
Yeah.
I thought it worked for
I-
this one.
Yeah.
And dancing,
And dancing. Oh my god, dancing.
pretty cute,
Yes, it was so cute.
folksy.
I actually really felt the absence of the Stabbington brothers, and that's going to sound stupid, but bear with me. A couple of major set pieces in the middle of that movie, like the escape and that like big canyon, and or like there's the whole bar thing with
Yeah.
I have a dream. One of those in the middle of the forest, I think, would have been just enough to break it up to where it didn't feel tedious until you got to the town, and then it helped
Yeah.
separate
That's
it
actually
again.
fair. Even just having the bar would have been something to change it up.
And
But-
I would be fascinated one day to hear how much is it a licensing nightmare when you make a game like this?
Oh, I heard that this one was tough in terms of working with Disney because a lot of those creative teams are like still really involved at Disney. So trying to get permission to do stuff now was a big challenge for them for sure. I remember reading interviews. But,
that will play into a comment I will make later. But yeah, so Tangled was solid.
Tangled was really good.
Not great. I still liked Hercules more, but it was solid.
Yeah, it's not top 3, but it's right outside of it. And I love the movie, so it's not even that clouding it. It's a nice, big, beautiful world. It gets a little tedious in the middle, but overall, it's really solid.
They do the scene where it's like the montage of her being happy and then
God,
depressed.
I loved it.
But like
So
with Sora
cute.
just like chilling in the background of every shot, or Donald, it was great.
I loved it so much.
So
It's
good.
great.
And the ending beats still hit, too.
Yeah.
In fact, like the 3 of them are kind of watching the ending unfold, and they're all super emotional about it, so it just kind of adds some depth to it that I liked.
Yeah, for sure.
And a cool boss fight at the end. As soon as you saw the tower and you knew you could run up stuff in Hercules' world, you're like, I'm running up that fucking tower.
Yep.
Sometime,
it
and
is
sure
cool.
enough, it happens in the climactic moment. You're like, cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Monstropolis is the first of the second tier.
This actually might be the worst world.
This might be the worst.
Might be.
Yeah.
So they
I
say
hate
Monstropolis, but it's really just hallways and a factory. And you're like, that's not
Yeah.
fun. It's almost like what's that? There's a word I'm thinking of, but it's like the opposite of everything else that Kingdom Hearts does really well, like vibrancy, unique
antithesis.
locations, and
Yeah.
Everything was
Anathema?
identical. It
anyways.
was
And you got to at least
Hated it.
you did the door thing a bit, and you got to surf on the cables and ride on the. So that was fun. But then again, when I think back, I'm like, what were they going to do with this world?
I thought they
Yeah.
could have done a lot more with those rails on the door, because so you have the rails that the doors or whatever on, but it's completely linear.
Yeah.
You're on it and you're going and you shoot things and then you're done.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't do anything like with the doors themselves. Like,
Yep.
why don't you get to go into a unique area, even if it's just like 1 or 2 rooms
That
or
would have been
something?
cool.
That's
Just
my big gripe.
open it up a little bit, because otherwise you're in this factory the whole time. I'm just like,
And the doors can go literally anywhere.
the
It could
doors
just
can
be
go
like
anywhere.
Some
Exactly.
dumb room of some kind that it goes into, and you just do like a one-off for a couple times, and it would have been again just enough to give it some spice.
Yeah.
The story was also really bad because the whole time they're trying to get Boo to safety, and by the time they get her to safety, the danger is gone. So she can stay now because it's over.
So every fight
Right.
is we're running together, we're having a good time. Oh, there's enemies. Get Boo to safety. Okay, it's clear. Let's run.
Yeah.
Enemies. Boo,
That's
get over
like,
here.
the whole thing. There's like no like breathing room. It's just like, okay, we're running and then we're doing a thing and then
I liked fighting alongside Mike and Sully.
yeah, they were
their
fun party
their
members.
voice acting was good.
I
Pretty
thought
good
they were
considering.
really
I thought
good
so.
because I haven't seen that movie in forever, so I don't really remember what they sound like, but
Sully
they sounded
especially.
close. They
Yeah.
all sounded like really good.
Billy Crystal's a hard one to duplicate. I thought they did okay to
Yeah.
good.
And I don't remember what Randall sounds like, so I'm going to assume that sounds
It's
like
pretty
him,
close. It
but-
could even be the actual guy, but who cares? Because Randall's the worst villain in this game of the Disney Worlds too.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's so
yeah,
lame.
Doesn't do
Well, I believe
anything.
it was Steve Buscemi in the movie, right? So,
Actually, I take that. He might actually not be. The one from the next world might be too, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Point being, he's a terrible villain.
but the Kingdom Hearts villain, with all the bad stuff in that world aside, I actually liked. I was like, okay, I could see this particular villain wanting like this area with the screens. I was like, that I thought was a
That
clever tie-in.
It was actually good. I liked that. Like, also when they chucked him through the
Yeah.
door, I died. It was so funny. But yeah, that made it kind of worth it because, like, oh, you actually really tied in the Kingdom Hearts villain being in a Disney World.
Yeah.
Maybe more so than
Yes.
some of the others.
So that was a tie-in.
So that was really well done. But, I mean,
But
that happens at the very end.
I
so
think
it's like,
almost all the Disney worlds have at least a nice hook for like why this fits in a world about like hearts and heartless and friendship and hope and despair and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Most of them tie in well, and I also forgot to mention this back then, but I also loved Woody throwing shade at a major villain in the Toy Box world.
That was
Oh, yeah.
hilarious.
Like that part
That
was
was
at least
so
good. Same thing kind of happens here where you're like, haha, this guy's not doing anything. Oh, he's actually doing something. Oh, whoops.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yep.
Bottom tier for me. We'll rank them later.
Okay.
Arendelle or Frozen.
Again, started off really well. You're on the mountain. You're doing something. You're in a cool labyrinth, which I thought was neat. And then you're same thing with the forest, but worse.
But worse because
But
it's
far worse.
just mountain and snow. There is no town.
I thought it was funny how like self-aware it was too. It's like not again. Like even Sora was like pissed that he had to do it again. I'm like, yeah, we're with you there.
Yeah, that was great. I loved salty Sora at the end of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm here for that. It makes sense.
I thought that they integrated the characters really well with the overarching Kingdom Hearts plot. Like, I really liked how they tied in. Oh, good. I haven't even Elsa. I was like, I haven't even seen this movie.
Yeah.
I like how they tied in Elsa's like fear of hurting Anna and like being like super overly protective to like how Riku was with Sora. Like I loved that. That was like a really good way to like bridge the two stories. I thought
that was really great as well. I haven't really seen the games do that before, especially like specifically make character connections like that. And I was like, this is really well done, and it's a good fit. Like it makes sense that he would make that connection, and that's why he wants to help her, is because she's like Riku.
It was was good, but it was like it was an example of like you don't influence the plot like at all. You're just observing, and so the observation that Elsa and Riku that parallel is cool, but like you don't do anything. And that was the villain. Do you ever even see his face?
Yeah,
nope.
that's what I was
you don't
referring to
actually
earlier.
see his face. Like he's just there, and then he turns into a cool wolf-looking thing.
Which was a great fight.
I was gonna say that boss fight was so good.
But also emblematic of the main problem with this world to me, which is it holds you at arm's length from everything that actually happens in Frozen.
Yeah, right.
It keeps making you go back to the ice palace where Elsa is and never actually let you in. It keeps
Oh my god,
blowing
I
you
was
away
so mad about
4
that.
times.
I was like, you're not gonna let me in the ice palace.
So all we do is spend like the fortress in the beginning is neat, but we never go any place from the movie. Not the city, not the castle, not Elsa's place. Even the thing at the end, you go out on this ice thing where the ship is, and it looks like this cool area, and you get sucked into some other like nondescript, heartless portal for what's a really cool fight, but it doesn't have anything to do with Frozen.
Yeah.
So it's just frustrating because it's like, other than the song, the 2 songs, I guess, 1.5. It's like, and even the one difference here between this and Monsters Inc. is you don't even spend time with the characters. Anna doesn't join the party. Elsa doesn't join the party. I like Marshmallow, but unlike Monsters Inc., where you at least spend all the time with Mike and Sully, what do you do here?
Yeah, to me, if there is an issue with the licensing or mandates, this was the one where I felt it.
Yeah.
It's like you can use Frozen, but you can't like touch the plot at all.
Yeah.
And but I did like I was like, they're not going to go the full rendition. There's no way. And then they did. And I was like, all right. I mean, I'm okay with that.
That's a great song.
I tolerate it, well, because it's a good song, but also I love that like Sora, Donald, and Goofy are like in the background. They're like
I wish they were in it more, though.
I do wish they were
It
doing
happened
stuff
at the
more.
beginning, and that was it.
Yeah, that's true. I do wish they were in it more. Okay, I did not like Build a Snowman. Really? She's singing over her narration, talking to Sora? Shut up!
It was weird because in a way I preferred it because I was like, I don't need another full rendition, so it was like a way to backfill exposition.
That's fair.
But
Just hard to listen to.
Yeah.
It was a little distracting. I was like, thank God for subtitles.
One of the biggest wasted opportunities is like, how is Elsa not join your party? Okay, like Anna, I get what's she gonna do, but like Elsa has ice powers and stuff. It could have been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it was just for a bit. Like I don't expect it the whole time because she's kind of like the main narrative thread, but she doesn't join at all.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. That
Ice
was
Queen?
a surprise.
A missed opportunity.
Like,
She has
I
fun
assumed
powers.
she would, and then it was Marshmallow, and I was like, well.
So
I mean,
I'm at this
sure,
point.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm at this point in the game, and I'm like, I'm a little worried now because I'm like, I had fun, but if every world remaining is going to be like this one, I'll get through it, of course, but like it's not going to be like fun. Like I'm being pulled through this because I'm having such a good time.
That's how I felt too. I was very much like, well, this is kind of what I was expecting.
And then, if I'm correct, the next world is pirates.
You are not, because
Well, we're not going to count Winnie the Pooh yet.
that's when I say we had the worst world. You spend time here. We'll talk about it just the briefest.
All right.
Okay.
Hundredacre Wood is back.
I kind of
for-
liked it. I'm sorry.
I think the minigame's fine, but you do basically
Yeah.
3 variations of it, and then you fuck off.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. But I was okay if it's going to be in, which you can make the case maybe it shouldn't have been. I'm glad that it was like, okay, thank God. 3 games, I'm done with here.
I agree.
It was
I don't have to
mercifully
do
short.
the balloon thing and all like the, you know what I mean? All the different shitty mini
Yeah.
games.
I actually thought, like, I know we have our history with Winnie the Pooh in this game, but like I actually was kind of surprised by how emotionally affecting that was. Like with Winnie the Pooh, I thought they did a great job with what they had.
Yeah.
I actually cared about his connection with Sora.
I cared too. I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, "Oh, Sora's growing up, and that's why they're not as close." And
That's
it's a whole thing.
like the only that was big for Sora because he's like he like admits something that's not just like we're always gonna be best friends.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
connected forever. He's like honestly, yeah. He's like he's a little kid toy. I'm growing up, and he doesn't say that, but.
It's so. I thought it was a good character moment, and I'm glad
thought
it was
so,
there
too.
for that
Yeah.
reason alone.
Also, I liked the mini games because they were short and quick, and like you could do them like you could get good scores, and then also get ingredients for cooking. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I cleared
Of
the
course.
first two without knowing you could hold down a button and shoot like 7 of them at once.
Oh
And
yeah,
then the
no.
third one became impossible to beat in the time limit, and I was like, "What am I missing?" And then I found out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that'd be frustrating.
Yeah, because I'm just shooting one at a time, like,
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was hard.
That
And
sounds
I still beat
awful.
2 of them.
That's impressive.
Hard mode on myself. I don't think it's
Yes.
the worst world, but like joking aside, I think it was there for the right amount. It's fine. I don't know if I needed it. I think I'd rather have Final Fantasy characters than 100 Acre Wood, but that's another thing for later.
Well,
So
Ring 3, now the best world.
Okay,
for
no,
3 of the 4 of us.
I do want to say, finishing Arendelle and being kind of not, a little worried, and then seeing pirates, it being the next world, I'm like, great.
Well, I watch them with the same feeling.
What's
yeah.
going to happen now? Because
Oh, God.
this was not a good world in 2.
No.
It's not horrible. It was jarring. It was okay, but it was not great. It was,
ew, I don't know. It may have been horrible.
It could be horrible. The whole moonlight mechanic where you can
I
only
hated
hit
it.
people
It
in the
was so
moonlight.
bad and so
God.
and like more
frustrating.
mini game stuff. I like the boss where you have to steal all the coins.
That one's
in
not
2.
too bad.
Yeah, that
But
one's pretty good.
Also, in the English version, you have the guys with crossbows because they couldn't put guns in the
God.
game.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fear.
And the music. Talk
And
about
then-
repetitive themes. Anyways.
And then this is you guys. It is not close. This is the best world in 3.
Well, first of all, because we're going to get to this in a bunch, like this world is already vastly improved before you get a boat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, even before you get like the open world stuff.
Well, it looks better.
It
Yeah.
looks better. You're actually dressed up as a pirate, and
Yep.
I love it. He's so cute as a pirate with his little gold
the
tooth.
story's kind of cute. The dynamics kind of cute.
Yep.
Yeah,
Jack Sparrow's voice acting is better.
that's a lot better. Is that the same person?
yes.
Not great.
Yeah, I'll
Elizabeth
give you that.
Turner Swan, not better.
No, she actually is worse.
Yeah.
Will Turner's the same voice actor, which is
Yeah, but she was definitely not.
Barbosa's fine still.
Barbosa's
Same voice
fine.
actor.
Gibbs was
Gibbs is
fine.
actually him.
Oh,
so
it
that's
is?
fine.
Oh, wow.
So,
Nice.
awesome.
well, it's sort of like shit. Who am I thinking of here? Oh, it's like Ham and Rex, where you at least have to get somebody from the actual movie.
Yeah, right,
You're
right.
not gonna
yeah.
get the big stars, so you better get the little dudes.
Well, and so it was to me. This world was like the redemption tour because you're right. It was a better version of Pirates. Also, you find yourself underwater,
Yep.
and it was not great, but it was fun, and it
It
was
also looked very good.
Yeah.
and it was playable. That
Yeah.
was nice, a nice change.
Yeah, underwater controls were actually like not terrible.
Yeah,
for
I could
once.
navigate Sora.
Yes.
So yeah, this is where we kind of part ways a little bit because I didn't get to play the Pirates level. It's a lot of leveling up and a lot of fighting, and it's cool initially, but collecting the crabs, I wanted to die. I was
It's
just
not
like,
that I don't know. I think your guy just chose this world to grind a little bit.
maybe.
Comparatively speaking, it's not much more fighting than any other thing. There is
Yeah.
the crowds, but half the time, if you're just exploring the world, doing your thing, you're going to get them anyway.
This was where I actually started skipping. I maybe he did spend I want to say he spent 5 hours in
It's-
Pirates World.
It's a good place to level. You can get like 500
Yeah.
experience from killing ships by shooting them in the core with one shot. So I can
Yeah.
see somebody,
Yeah.
especially if you're behind, because every tier of these worlds jumps in between as far as level. I could see how somebody might have spent more time there.
Well, but let's get to that. So you start the world, and it's like, typical Pirates fare, and then you get your own pirate ship. And for me, this is the most fun I had in the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Might be for me too.
I liked
Because-
it a lot
fun.
better.
And it wasn't
once.
even the fighting, which was fine, and it was fun. You can do a thing where you and this is great. You jump into the air, and it goes from the perspective of the ship as you're just like falling. And actually, you almost feel like a sense of like it was very well done.
Yeah.
You almost get like that vertigo, and you just crash into the ships.
It
So
was
much
super
fun.
I didn't love the world when I first got there, mostly because that stupid ship race. I died like 7 times.
Yeah, that's just a you problem.
That's a me
I
problem.
used the
know
jump
it
to
is.
win that.
I didn't even know I could jump.
pretty fun.
I'm so sad. But I died a lot. But then once I got my own ship and could actually start exploring, I really enjoyed the world a lot
and
more.
that was the thing, was the fighting was fine. It was good. The exploring, though.
Yeah.
Going to just whatever and I have a thing like personally for in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This is what I loved. I'm like, I want to live in this time and just go on my sailboat island to island and like look at it. It's great.
It was also a mini Wind Waker because it was just like a much more condensed version. But here's a little island with some personality. Each of these has like a thing that you can go to.
I found a treasure trove. So you're exploring the island. You get into this like ravine in the middle with water, like a huge well. You dive in, swim down, you go into a tunnel, and there's like 18 treasure chests in there.
It's so good.
All of them with like good stuff too.
Good stuff, not
all
flukes.
good items.
Not
yeah.
flukes.
And like good synthesis materials.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I was
Right.
like, I would buy if they released a pirates themed entire game of Kingdom Hearts. I would play it.
Yeah.
The guy I was watching was saying that he's like, I can't believe this hasn't already been licensed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it's everything about like Black Flag and I guess like Sea of what's that one? Sea of, it's like a MMO or something.
Oh yeah, that one that came out like
Sea
a year
of
ago or
Thieves
so.
or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's like that, but better because it's Kingdom Hearts infused. So, for example, if you can see your ship, pretty much, you can immediately like teleport to your ship.
Oh my god, I started abusing the teleport at that point.
Great decision.
And that's
Yeah.
great because, like in Black Flag, you're like, okay, well, my ship is freaking far away, so you're
Gotta
jogging
walk.
over. This is a pew! You teleport over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
The ability to do Kingdom Heart-esque things in the sea battles.
And if you
Great.
didn't want to do it, you just headed to the north part of the map.
Yeah, you can go straight there if you want
I would
to.
hope you
Yeah.
wanted to engage with it because there was a ton of great stuff there. But on the
Yeah.
off chance you didn't, they gave you an out.
I just wanted. I was sad when I was done exploring all the islands. I upgraded my ship all the way. I explored every island, and the world comes to an end in one of the best boss fights in the whole game.
That was
in
a
one
super
of the
fun
best
fight.
set pieces, in one of the best stories as far as integrating Kingdom Hearts and Disney.
It did it
in the whole
surprisingly
game.
well. Yeah.
It really, because it was the second example of coming in at like the closure of a saga. Like Hercules, we were at like the third act finally. This was the third act of not a very good movie, but this was just, fighting Davy Jones. And you fight Davy Jones, which is not some weird fox that has nothing to do with the property like you did in Arendelle. It's Davy Jones.
yeah.
Yep.
It's cool.
It's super cool.
Which, if there's one big complaint about this game, I think that's where one of the areas where it's lacking. Maybe it's because earlier games already took some of the best ones. As much as I hate the Hydra fight from Kingdom Hearts 2, at least it's a major Hercules villain. Well, this was one world where they had a big deal villain who would actually you fight,
Yeah.
which feels great. It's a shame they didn't do more of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it turns out you're not with the real Captain Jack Sparrow. I was like, whatever.
Yeah. Nah.
You think
Yeah.
I'm going to be sad? He's...
I'm not entirely sure what's her name, Tia Dalma or.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah,
entirely
yeah.
sure what was going on there, and
Yeah.
call me
that
when you need me.
confused
I don't
because
get
she's
that
like, yeah,
either.
unlock my power, and I'm like, but wait, we didn't actually do that, did we? Like,
Yeah,
what
but the
happened?
movie doesn't know it either.
Yeah,
so it's
so
like,
it's
what
That's
do you
Marvel,
fair.
of
do?
course.
Well, let's keep in mind the source material is garbage. So
Yeah.
I didn't have the real Jack Sparrow, but the movie didn't care about Jack Sparrow, so why should I care about Jack Sparrow in my game?
Yep. That's correct.
All right, our final Disney World, San Francisco.
I don't want to say ended on a whimper. It's not the worst world, but after coming from the best world and then doing this one, it was okay. It was a strangely linear experience for a gigantic city.
I thought the pacing was a little weird as well. Like there wasn't a ton of opportunity to explore, and then you just kind of blitz through the story, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you're done. And I'm like,
There's a hub.
oh.
And where all the cast is there, which if you really like Big Hero 6, you're probably going to get more out of this. I thought it was only okay. They send you on a mission, so you do the mission with your little asshole friend, whatever the hero, chirping at you the whole time about go to the indicator. And I'm like, you think I didn't hear you the first 30 times? Leave me alone. I just want to explore. But yeah, it was fine.
By far, the thing that hurts this world the most is the decision not to let you explore freely until after it's over.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was definitely a thing I noticed too. I liked it more once I got to explore it and actually, look around and see all the effort they put into the city. But yeah.
But it was a city. It's like I don't play Kingdom Hearts to play like Watch Dogs it's not that bad, but like it's a city area.
Yeah.
I want like fantasy.
And like it's the city from the movie, but the city is not a major set piece in the movie, so you don't really have any attachment to it.
It's also weird that you're only on the bridge once. And you can't go back.
Oh yeah, right.
That's kind of weird. Like you start there, and once again, so it's like you get out to a good start, and then it's.
The only thing I liked is that you get 2 Baymaxes at the end.
The story, again, I liked not only the tie-in, which was good, and it was actually like somewhat emotional for a few different reasons.
Yeah.
Some of which I can't get into. But like Sora actually influenced the characters. They all like had different abilities.
Was so great. I loved that montage.
And that was cool.
They learned from him. I'm like, oh, that's super fun. That's super great.
Because they should learn from him. He's freaking Sora. Sora. I don't know his last name. Has it ever been divulged?
No. Let's just...
Mr. Sora.
Sora McSorison.
All right. Yeah. So it was fine.
Middle of the road. So...
Yeah.
Let's throw out 100 Acre Wood because who cares? And obviously we're not doing Twilight Town. So rank the 7 remaining Disney worlds.
Oh God.
Pirates, Hercules, Corona, San Francisco, Toy Story, Monsters Inc.
You forgot Arendelle.
5th.
Arendelle before Toy Story.
Okay, so 5th, yeah.
That's pretty close to what I would say too.
I actually think that's probably my ranking too, or like pretty darn close. Maybe I would swap. Wait, what was your last one? Sorry.
Don't worry about it. No, it was my least favorite was Monstropolis actually.
Okay.
And
yeah,
Toy Box was the worst for a while.
And honestly, I think the only reason that I have Monstropolis below Toy Box is because I don't like Monsters Inc. as much as Toy Story.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I kind of cared less going in and less coming out. Mine's probably Olympus. No, sorry, it's Caribbean, Olympus. I have San Francisco 3rd. I kind of enjoyed it maybe more than I should have. Corona's there, Arendelle's there, and then we talked about the bottom. So actually pretty decent consensus across the board.